No, open distance.
Good morning, Daktari.
Yeah, morning to you, Bonnie.
Yes,
How are you?
fine, thank you.
I was trying to test and see whether it can open.
Yeah, it's opening. Apparently, I need to send you a new YouTube link. Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, YouTube link here nilituma jana haifanyi, but I'm hoping that they will just start by joining. They just start by joining with the Zoom. Waambie wajoin tu na Zoom kwanza, kwa sababu ya hiyo ingine, hiyo YouTube haifanyi.
Okay, sawa.
Let
me communicate to them.
Okay. I'm also there waiting. I've already made you the co-host.
Yes.
So that you share the screen. But I'm there to support you.
You've seen my screen sharing, isn't it?
Let me see if you are sharing.
Wacha nijaribu nione kama utaiona huko.
Jaribu.
Unaiona?
Yeah, naiona.
It's okay.
Everything is in order.
Thank you so much.
Na hii dot utoe daktari.
Hii dot hii.
Utaitoa baadaye.
Niitoe hivyo, si ndio?
Iko
711. I mean 311.
It's confused wanafunzi wakitaka ku enroll. Enrollment key nilikupatia kweli?
Uliniambia PSY SEP 24.
PSY 311 alafu September SEP 2024
ni 2024 in full.
Yeah, 2024 in full.
Sawa, it's okay.
But SEP is just SEP. Yaani hiyo course code tunataka ikuwe inachukua hii fashion, inaanza na unit code alafu the session. Kama sahi this is a September session. Kienda next year January session, kuna May session. So tunataka ikuwe tu unasema course code alafu session. Ikiwa unafunza next year January inakuwa PSY 311 Jan 2025. Hivyo ndio tutakuwa tunafanya.
It's okay.
Lakini sasa pia hii PSY 311 nitakana utoe hiyo space.
Nimetoa
Space.
Hii.
Hivyo.
Sawa.
Sisi zinakuanga zimeshikana hivyo.
Inakuanga hivyo.
Kwa transcript
inakuanga PSY 311.
Kazi zimeshikana. Yeah. So that it doesn't really confuse them. Wengine wataanza kuweka wanaweka space alafu inaanza kuwasumbua.
Sawa.
So just communicate to them alafu tuone, but I'm just here, I'm standby.
Hata hii enrollment kia haina space. Ni PSY 311 SEP 2024, si ndio?
Bila space.
SEP in caps.
Everything in caps. Nataka kutumia
everything in caps, okay.
Acha nikutumia kwa WhatsApp.
Acha niwaambie.
Waanze kuingia, it's already 10:50.
Jadi tuseme anaingia klasi yangu kwa nini? Kwa nini anaingia kwa klasi zangu? Kiswahili religion. Okay, then go academy. Oh, Enoki's. Ameweka watu wengi. Sasa hii ni Kiswahili. Not PSY. Yaipiwa sana. Unataka kuwa kuni? Hata nimetoa nyumbani juzi na nzuri tu. Good morning. Morning, Lagat. Are you getting me?
Yes, Daktari.
Yeah, tell your colleagues to join. You're only 16. So we give them 5 minutes. Then we start off with our class, kindly. So make sure you register your attendance. Immediately you join the class, you register your attendance. So 5 minutes are over. We are 32. So I think we can start off with the introduction. Maybe others will be joining us as we continue. So I want to welcome all of you to this particular class. This is a PSY 311. That is the course code. Then course title is Human Growth and Development. So I want us to start off immediately so that we don't waste any time. Though we are very few have joined, you are only 32, meaning you are 30. So this course is going to deal with the human growth and development. The course title for this particular course is Human Growth and Development. So I'm Dr. Florence Wanjala. I know I've interacted with a few of you or most of you. I've been teaching you guidance and counseling courses, but we've not met in psychology courses. So for those ones who don't know me, I'm Dr. Florence Wanjala from the Department of Educational Psychology. We teach psychology courses and guidance and counseling courses. So I want to welcome you to this course, PSY course, that is normally taught to all education students. For those of us that are taking education, this course is compulsory to all of us. So the course is compulsory, so all of us must attend this particular course. Of course, we have different groups. I'll be teaching at least the 4 groups. So this is the first group I'm meeting this week. And I'm hoping that we shall be able to learn this course successfully without any problem. So it's a course that enables teachers to understand the characteristics of human growth and development. This is because we are going to handle human beings in our classes. We are going to handle learners. We are going to interact with them. We are going to direct them. We are going to lead them, and we are going to impart them with knowledge or give them knowledge in our classrooms and so on. So that's why it's important for us to understand the people we are handling and how best can we handle them as professional teachers. So that's why this course is a professional course. It's not a subject content course. It's a professional course, a course that will give you the skills, a course that will help you be able to handle your learners effectively in their various stages of development. So let me just share the course outline so that I just take you through the course outline as others are still joining. For those of us who have joined late, I've said that make sure you register your name and registration number at the chat for the purposes of attendance. Kindly. Are you able to see what I'm sharing? One response, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So this is the course outline. Before maybe I start taking you through the course outline, I want us to know that all the content for this particular course has been uploaded in the learning management system, that is in the e-learning system. So that's why if you check your WhatsApp, I've communicated the key, the enrollment key, that will enable us to be able to enroll into the course. So I want to start by advising you to enroll into the course of PSY 311. So the enrollment key is PSY 311 SEP 2024. So you write it as one word. If you want to enroll into PSY 311, use the following key: PSY 311 SEP 2024. So I want all of us to enroll into this particular course because I've uploaded all the content on that particular platform. There are certain topics we are going to cover. I'm going to take you through, but we have also supplementary or supporting material, supporting information that has been uploaded in the learning management system. So that's why through your portal, you can be able to access those links that I've posted there, so that you click on those links and they will open the information that I want you to read so that it supports what I'm trying to explain here. Like, for example, in the first topic that we are going to learn, you realize that I have posted a link there that covers the principles of human growth and development. So definitely, I may not take you through the principles because the link is there. You simply go to the portal, the e-learning system, then you click on that link, then you'll get all the information there. So that's why it's important that all of us enroll into the course. Then secondly, you'll also realize that in the on the same platform, I'll be posting assignments. I'll post cards for you to attempt, because I'm going to test you after every topic. After every topic, we are going to do a quiz, and that quiz will count for some marks. So make sure you enroll and interact with that information that has been uploaded there. So I've already met your class rep, that is Vincent. I have the contacts for Vincent. So it's important that you also get in touch with the class rep in case of any information that I'll want to pass across concerning the class. So I don't know whether he's the only one representing the group or we have the another class rep. Normally you are supposed to be two, so that if one is not there, the other one can act, or the two can work together. Do we have another second class rep for this group? So we only have one representative. Vincent, are you present? I have not seen you. Is Vincent
Yes,
present?
I'm present.
Okay, okay. Okay, thank you. I hope you've got the information that I've passed across, and make sure that those who have not joined today's class, you make sure you pass that information to them. Let them enroll into the course. So for them not attending the class, so in case you have a challenge, if you're not getting me, kindly communicate so that I may not talk to myself. So the moment you realize that I've lost my voice, you are not getting me, then you, Vincent, let me know immediately, or any member can let me know so that we work on the internet in case we have issues. So this course, I want to take you through the course outline. The course outline for PSY 311, Human Growth and Development. As I've already said, this is a course that we teach all third years in semester 1. And it deals with the different definitions of child development, characteristics of human growth and development, principles of human growth and development, educational implications of human growth and development. Then we have fiscal, all the aspects. We shall also handle all the aspects of human growth and development. All the aspects include fiscal, social, moral, emotional, language. Then we shall also look at personality development and cognitive development and exceptional development. All this will be covered in this particular course. So if you check in the e-learning system, I've already uploaded this course outline. You can download it and go through it step by step. So our overall objective for this particular course is to make learners understand the characteristics of human growth and development and its implications. And its implications to learning. So that is our overall objective for this particular course. So our expected learning outcomes, our specific expected learning outcomes are as follows. We should be able to define various terms related to human growth and development. By the end of this particular course, we should be able to describe the factors that influence growth and development. Then number 3, we should be able to explain the principles of human growth and development. Number 4, we should be able to describe the process of physical development, describe various theories of human growth and development and their implications to learning. Under theories, we have cognitive, personality theories, and so on. So there are many, but I'm only going to look at a few. Others, maybe you'll discuss them in your groups. At the end of this particular course, you should also be able to describe, I've already talked about personality theories. You should be able to explain the aspects of moral and emotional development. Of course, I've said we shall handle moral, emotional, we shall also handle social development and many other aspects of development. Then at the end of the course, we should also be able to discuss how language develops in children and the role of language in the learning process. Then number 9, we should be able to outline the changes and challenges of adolescence development or adolescent development. So as a teacher, given the fact that we are going to handle children in this particular stage, it's important that we understand the challenges they face. it's important that we understand the changes that take place in adolescence development and how they influence learning, either in a positive way or in a negative way. Then how best can we handle these children in this particular stage? That is very, very important for us to know. Then lastly, we should be able to understand that development also goes up to adulthood development. So when you are growing, becoming an adult and aging, what are the characteristics or what experiences do you go through? And how well are you supposed to be prepared? Or are you supposed to prepare for old age, especially when you are teaching and you are going aging to retirement or going towards retirement? What are you supposed to do in order to prepare for that age as it comes in your life? So this is very, very important. These are the objectives. These are the expected learning outcomes that I want us to achieve at the end of this particular course. So at the end of the course as a teacher, you should be able to understand all these objectives or expected learning outcomes and be able to analyze how this information can help you as a professional teacher. So that's what we are going to be, to relate to every other time. After describing the stages, after describing the theories, so what? How is it affecting you as a teacher? Or why are you learning these theories? Why is it important that you acquire knowledge on the theories of cognitive development, personality development, and so on? So you realize that most of these, like for example, cognitive and personality development, I know you have covered them in PSY 211. So meaning that these are the topics I'll let you go to groups and discuss because you already have the content. The lecturers have already taught you about cognitive development, the stages of cognitive development, and how they affect learning or how best you can handle children in these particular stages. So that times I'll be guiding you through. If I reach a topic, I know that it has already been covered in PSY 211, I refer you back to those notes so that you sit in your groups and revisit the content that was covered. And the most important thing when you are discussing in your groups, I want you to know how to apply. Psychology is about applying. It's not about describing and staying with the information and producing what the lecturer has given you. You will not expect me to give you any question that will that you have to produce the notes, but I will want you to apply. If you go to a classroom, how will you handle children in this particular stage? Like for example, in adolescent stage, how will you handle them? First of all, before you know how to handle them, you must understand the challenges they go through. You must understand the characteristics that that come with adolescent development. What are the changes? What are the emotional differences? What are the psychological challenges? And how do you help an adolescent overcome those challenges? Remember, as we are helping them to overcome, our main purpose as teachers is to make sure that these children are comfortable and they're able to learn. You are helping them to overcome because you want them to be comfortable in your class as you are teaching so that they learn with others. Are you getting me?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes,
Are you getting
Doctor.
me? Okay,
Yes.
thank you. So I've tried to highlight these objectives or put these objectives into different topics, and mainly the course description that I gave you above there. You realize that these objectives are coming from those particular course description. So I've put them into different topics The first topic we are going to handle is topic 1 on introduction to human growth and development. In that topic, we are going to define various terms. We are going to discuss various characteristics of growth and development. We are going to discuss different factors that influence human growth and development. Then we shall also discuss the principles of human growth and development. Remember, I've told you there's a link I've put on the learning management system on this, on the principles of growth and development. So I want you to go and click on that link and be able to read that information and make some summary notes from that. Then lastly, in the same topic, we are expected to understand or to discuss the educational implications of human growth and development in the teaching learning process. So, or the reasons as to why a teacher should have knowledge on human growth and development. So in our second topic, we shall be looking at the aspects of human growth and development. And I have subdivided, this one will take almost 3/4 of our course. In fact, it's going to take 3/4 of the course because I've divided them into different subtopics. We have the first aspect is physical development. Then we shall also cover social development. Under that, we shall also look at moral development. Then there's something on emotional development. On emotional development, I put it as a different topic because it's a bit wide. It has been put as a different topic because it's a bit wide and very, very important when it comes to the teaching learning process. So in this particular subtopic, we are going to see how emotions, emotional competency skills, if not acquired, or if a child develops negative emotions, how does it impact on learning? So this aspect is also very important, and I've just put it as an independent topic away from the other aspects of growth and development. So topic 4 is on theories of development. It's in this that I've said, most of you have also discussed this. Under the theories, we have theoretical issues of human growth and development. Then we have the theories of cognitive development, which I'm aware that you have already covered in PSY 211 when you are looking at general educational psychology. There is no way you can look at the educational psychology without necessarily looking at cognitive, because cognitive deals with the understanding how children develop understanding skills. And in the teaching learning process, we mainly deal with understanding. So if we want to know that our objective has been achieved, then the learner must have understood the content that you have taught or the topic that you have taught. So that's why this one is very, very important in both courses. You learned in second year, and we shall also briefly revisit it here. So I may not really repeat what you've covered in the Piaget stages of development, but I want you to sit in your groups and discuss how does this stage of development affect a teacher? Or how best can a teacher handle children in different stages of cognitive development as listed by Jean Piaget? So it's important that we just revisit that briefly. Then there's something on theories on personality development, on Sigmund Freud's theories of personality development. You know, it's important for a teacher to understand personality, different types of personalities in your class. That's why you'll also find that such topic is being repeated in this particular course. So we want to understand different types of personalities and the characteristics of these personalities, then the challenges that they face or the positive sides that they have, and how does this affect learning, and how best can a teacher handle children with different personalities of development. So that's why it's being repeated there, and it's a very, very important topic, and especially the theories that these psychologists have come up with. Then after that, we shall also look at language development. You know, there's no way learning can take place without language. And that's why it's important for us to be able to understand how children develop language. We have different stages of language development, right from childhood development. Then we have some challenges that come about with the language development, depending on different factors that are influencing language development. So that's why it's important for us as teachers to know or to have knowledge on this development, so that when we are handling learners in class and you want them to communicate in a particular language, are they able to communicate effectively? If they're not able to communicate effectively, then what must have influenced that negative characteristic? Then how best what can you do to overcome this negative effect? And if it's a positive effect, what can you do in order to influence the positive characteristic to enable learning take place effectively? So that's a very important topic also that we shall cover. Then lastly, we have exceptional development. We have exceptional development, which we have also combined with adulthood. Adulthood will come in just briefly because it comes at the end of everything, especially if we want now to, we are able to teach, we have become old, we are now adults, what is expected of us, what are we supposed to do to prepare ourselves to exit the teaching profession? So that one now comes there. But there's something important on exceptional development. I know maybe you have covered it somewhere. Those of us that are maybe doing special needs education must have covered something on exceptional development. So in this case, we want to understand what are the factors that influence exceptional development, then different types of exceptionalities, and how children with this exceptional development are affected in the learning process. How can we be able to identify the challenges that these children are having? And then what is the role of the teacher in this? How are you going to handle these children differently or at individual level so that you help them to learn just like any other child? So this is our course outline. This is what we are going to learn. I've just taken you through briefly, but you can be able to download it from the learning management system and go through step by step. This course outline is important because it will guide you in your groups. These objectives that have been listed will help you. The subtopics that have been listed will help you in your discussion groups, especially when you are gathering information on different aspects of human growth and development. And remember, I've said, and I will keep on repeating, psychology is not about cramming, it's about applying. So I want you to aim at understanding human growth and development, the characteristics of every stage of development or every aspect of development. If we are dealing, for example, with social, moral, emotional, physical, what are we able to understand? How do these stages influence learners in our classes? then what is your role, or what is my role as a teacher to help these learners or to influence them learn positively with an aim of achieving the objective that you have prepared for that particular class. So that's how we are supposed to look at this particular course. So as we start off, it's important for us always to have it at the back of our mind that this is a course that is preparing you as a professional to be an effective teacher. So the moment you understand all these characteristics and how best you can handle these learners, definitely you are going to emerge as a very, very effective teacher in the classroom. So our mode of assessment, of course, mode of study will be, we are going to have online classes, we are going to have discussions, we are going to have assignments, I'm going to give you case studies, especially I'll be posting them on the e-learning system so that we get the questions, sit in groups, we discuss. And we shall also have continuous assessment cards. These cards mostly will be online. Then I'll also give you takeaway assignments where you'll sit in groups, discuss, then I'll be able to compile all these marks and put them together to add to 30 marks. Then our main examination will have 70. So if you go to the library, you'll get references, reference books that will help you handle this course effectively. And I also want to encourage you to do a lot of research, so that you add on what I've given you as notes. So that is what we are going to cover in this particular course. Unless somebody has a question. So I don't know how many have joined so far. So we don't have any question. Now, if we don't have anything to ask, I think I'll try to briefly look at the first topic, which is the introduction. You are only 21 out of 200. Only 47 have registered. So let's just look at briefly the introduction part of it, because you are very few, but I'm hoping that those ones who have not joined will be able to interact with the content in the e-learning system. So the introduction of Introduction to Human Growth and Development is our first topic. In this particular topic, these are the objectives for this particular topic, for topic 1. The objectives or expected learning outcomes for topic 1 is by the end of the topic, the learner should be able to define various terms used in human growth and development. Then 2, explain the factors that affect human growth and development. 3, analyze why a teacher should have knowledge on human growth and development. Then lastly, at the end of this particular topic, you should be able to state the principles of human growth and development. So what is growth? Growth refers to increase in size. It refers to increase in size. And this increase in size begins before birth and lasts until late childhood. So the moment we are talking about growing, a child growing, so it means that there must be some changes that we observe in their growth. And these changes begin right right from conception. So the moment the mother conceives or becomes expectant, growth begins. It begins as we shall be looking at the physical aspect of development. And this growth continues up to late childhood. Late childhood is when the child is now entering into the next stage of development, which is adolescent development. So the most important thing for us to know here is that growth deals with size, the increase in size. You can be able to see, you can be able to measure. We can be able to see that the child was able, after maybe fertilization, then the child was able to move from maybe the fetus, from the zygote to the fetus, then to birth. So you can be able to see how this takes place. Then development refers to increased changes in sophistication or complexity. So in these changes, we can be able to see, for example, a child after birth can be able to sit, from sitting to crawling, from crawling to walking, then from walking to jumping. So this is what we refer to as development. You can be able to see a child who was not able to sit, raising his head, raising his hands, and can be able to sit. So this is what we are referring to as development. Apart from just increasing in size, then there are certain changes that you see, which takes place during development. That's why we are saying that they are sophisticated and complex. They are sophisticated and complex because they take place gradually. You just see a child moving from one stage to another. You can be able to describe and say, tomorrow this child will be able to sit and this child will be able to crawl. No. But when changes come gradually, you just see a child being able to lift himself or herself and starts raising his head, then he starts sitting on the mother's laps. Then from there, she can be able to sit down, or he can be able to sit down, and from there, gradually or step by step, he starts crawling. Then from crawling, you'll see him walking. Then from walking, you see him running, then jumping, like that. So that's what we are referring to as development. So child development refers to complex and interrelated changes that occur to children as they grow from time to time, or from time of conception to about 12 years of age. In these changes, we are talking about interrelated changes because now this child is interacting with the environment, and through interaction, the child's development is influenced in one way or another. So when we are talking about different types of environments, we have the environment of prenatal environment. Then we also have external environment. So children interact with these two environments, then which also influence their development from time to time. So another term that is important for us teachers to understand is maturation. What is maturation? What is maturation? Maturation refers to the readiness of the child to perform an activity, or the child's readiness to perform an activity. This is where certain characteristics become possible. This is where certain characteristics become possible which were not possible before. So I've just given you an example of sitting, crawling, walking, jumping, and so on. So you realize that these activities that the child was not able to do at the beginning of birth can be able to do them when he matures and becomes ready to perform those activities. So therefore, those activities await maturation. They await physical maturation, where bones and muscles become strong. They mature and become strong to enable the child perform those activities. So that's why I was telling you that this growth or the changes that take place during development are gradual and complex, in the sense that the child matures, the bones become strong, the muscles become strong, and therefore he can be able to lift himself. From lifting himself, sitting, then from sitting to crawling, like that. So that's what we are referring to as maturation. The child matures to sit, the child matures to crawl, the child matures to stand, then walk, then jump. So therefore, maturation is where this child's bones have become strong enough to perform that activity of standing and walking. The muscles have become strong enough to enable the child to crawl or move from one point to another. So most activities are therefore dependent upon maturation. And I want to emphasize this. Most activities are dependent upon maturation. It is therefore a mistake to try to hurry the child. We must wait until the child is ready to perform certain tasks. This applies even in the teaching process. This applies in the teaching learning process. So you cannot force a child to read fluently if he has not matured to do so. You cannot force a child to perform a task that is ahead of his age. I want to take you back to the Jean Piaget's stages of cognitive development, for example. He put them into groups and he said, there's a time when a child can be able to draw a circle, and there's a time when a child can be able to draw a rectangle. There's a time when a child is not able to calculate a complex maths or formula. I'm in class, nitakupigia baadaye. Just call me later. So there's a time when a child can be able to perform certain activities when he matures to do so. And definitely when he matures to do so, he does it perfectly well. And he does it even in a more faster manner. So what am I trying to say? As teachers, it's important for us to be able to understand that maturation is very, very important when it comes to the learning process. Therefore, it's important that the first thing we should do while interacting with our learners is to understand their level of maturation. So it's therefore, I've said it's therefore a mistake to try to hurry the child. We must wait until the child is ready to perform certain tasks. This underlines the importance of respecting individuality in the teaching learning process and awaiting the natural preparedness that the body makes for learning new skills. I repeat, this underlines the importance of respecting the individuality in teaching and awaiting the natural preparedness that the body makes for learning new skills. So training in particular skills is a process that awaits maturation. I think I've already explained that. I don't need to repeat. So when maturation, it's important to considering maturation. It's important to recognize that two processes are at work. The first one is growing bigger. Then the second one is integration. Growing bigger and integration, where the various parts of the body learn to work together harmoniously. The two normally occurs together. However, in certain cases, they may not. In certain cases, they may not. So it's important, therefore, as a teacher to recognize the one that has not kept pace with the other. For example, let me just give an example for this one. We are talking about growing big and also integration taking place, whereby when the child is growing, he grows big, and also there are certain processes that are taking place to ensure that the child responds to the external environment in relation to the age of that particular child. So that's why we are saying that the body integrates with the various parts of the body to make sure that they work together harmoniously. What are these parts we are talking about? We have various parts of the body. For example, we have the brain, we have the nervous system, then we have the kidneys, we have the liver, we have the legs, we have the eyes, we have the ears. All these parts of the body have to integrate so that they work together harmoniously. So there are times when this kind of growth doesn't take a pace. So we are saying that when the child is growing bigger, all these other parts are also integrating so that they work together. But there are times when this does not happen. How? Where a child grows bigger, but mentally he's retarded, for example. Or maybe he grows mentally and physically he is retarded. So this is what I'm referring to as other parts of the body don't take pace. So when they don't take pace, this now poses a challenge to the teacher. You can see a child has grown big, he's tall enough, he's big, but cannot read even a sentence. He cannot reason. Even if you ask a question, he cannot understand because he has grown bigger, but his mental state has retarded. It has not kept pace with the physical growth. So when you discover this and identify such a child, you immediately devise methods that can help this child also boost his mental ability. And I know you did this, you learned these processes, these methods in PSY 211. You know, things that can boost memory, things that can help in information processing, things that can help in remembrance. You know, you now come up with such methods because you have discovered growth. The two processes of growth have not taken place. One has been left behind. And especially if the mental, if it's the mental one that has been left behind, then definitely you have to devise methods that can help this child to boost his memory. So I've said this is where now teachers get challenges. And it's important therefore as teachers to be able to identify these two processes that take place in growth and development, so that you don't start maybe abusing the child. You are big enough and you can't think, you are big and you cannot read, you are big and you cannot be able to do this. So with this knowledge, it will help you understand that the growth and development has not taken place, and especially when it comes to maturation. Some parts of the body have matured while others have stagnated. Therefore, you come up with the best methods that can help you, that you can use to help the child boost his mental development and so on. So any failure in parallel progress of growth and development will affect maturation and present the teacher with the problems of how best to help the child whom they occur. I think I've already explained. So those are the important words that I wanted to define, because we are going to use them several times in this particular course. So after the definition of terms, we have certain factors that influence growth and development. We have some factors that influence growth and development. So the first one is hereditary. The first one is hereditary. I know all of us understand what hereditary is all about. Hereditary deals with the inheritance, inheriting certain characteristics from our parents. We can inherit strengths. We can also inherit limitations. For example, we have skin color, height, but we can also inherit even diseases. We are talking about the IQ, intelligence quotient. These are some of the things that children can inherit from their parents, and they can influence their growth and development. This normally takes place during the first stage of development. And this is the stage of conception. When during conception, during fertilization, this is the time when children can be able to inherit certain characteristics from their parents. And these characteristics, we have said, can either be strengths or they can also be limitations. The two affect growth and development either positively or negatively. The other information you can read on your own. Then we have environment as another factor that can influence human growth and development. I want to specify that we have two types of environments here. We have the external environment. We have also the prenatal environment. So when we are talking about environment, it means the surrounding. Environment means the surrounding. It includes where the child lives, And I've said it starts, we have two types. We have prenatal environment, we have external environment. Of course, under external, we have social, physical, and so on. So this can also be a factor that can influence growth and development. So how can the prenatal environment influence growth and development? How can the prenatal environment influence growth and development? We have various factors that will affect children during the teaching learning process. Are you getting me? I want to confirm because one response, please. Are you getting me? Like
Yes,
that?
madam.
Okay, thank you. So we have the prenatal environment. Prenatal environment is the environment before birth. The environment where a child lives after fertilization, after conception has taken place. That's the time before birth. It's important to note that this environment should be conducive. It should be conducive for proper development of the child. Otherwise, if it's not conducive, it can influence negatively the development of the child. The negatively means either the child might not grow up to the time of delivery or up to the time of birth, meaning that miscarriage can take place if this environment is not conducive. If the environment is not conducive, the child can be born with disabilities. Of course, when you talk of disabilities, they can be either physical disabilities or mental disabilities. Remember, we have said that there are times when children grow physically, but they don't grow mentally. That state is normally interfered with, mental state. Sometimes it's interfered with during the prenatal development. Why or how? When a mother, for example, does not take a balanced diet, the child will suffer from malnutrition. It's always important that the mother takes a balanced diet to boost the child's development or to help the child develop adequately. And this will help the child either to be born with the normal weight. It will help the child not to develop diseases like anemia, and it can also boost the mental ability of the child. Even bone formation, whatever the mother eats contributes to the development of the child. Even the bone formation, bones can be formed, the mental development can be boosted, especially when the mother takes a good diet. And when he doesn't, or when she doesn't take a good diet or a balanced diet, definitely the development will be interfered with or will be influenced negatively. In this particular stage of development, again, the mother is not supposed to expose herself to radiations. X-rays, for example, are very, very dangerous. X-rays are very, very dangerous to the unborn child. So evidence has provided that when a child is exposed to X-rays, he or she may be born with the defects, since the rays will interfere with the body cells of the developing child. So this can also lead to negative effects such as damage to the genital material, leading to defects such as dislocated lips, It can also lead to malformed eyes. X-rays can also lead to heart diseases, and they can also lead to mental retardation. So these are factors that can also interfere with the development of the child with these effects that I've just listed here. So meaning that if the mother does not expose the child to the X-rays, then definitely the child will develop well, will not have these defects that we are talking about, and the child will be born in a normal state. Diseases, if a mother also becomes sick, for example, if a mother, for example, is involved in accidents, they can also lead to, they can also influence negatively the development of the child. We have various diseases that influence negatively the development of the child. The first one is on the rhesus factor incompatibility, especially when the father and the mother have an issue or problems with rhesus factor incompatibility, then definitely the development of the child is affected negatively. When a mother suffers from high blood pressure, diabetes, sexually transmitted diseases such as gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, genital herpes, and acquired immune deficiency syndrome, that is HIV/AIDS, definitely these are diseases that can also influence negatively on the development of the child. So if a mother, an expectant mother, suffers from these diseases, she is supposed to seek treatment, or she should be on treatment to enable the child to develop well. She has to seek treatment. If she has a problem with the rhesus factors, again, you have to see the doctor so that the doctor can advise the best way forward. So the effects of diseases are several. We have talked about underweight, the child suffering from blindness. The child may have heart diseases. The child may also suffer from mental retardation. So those are the factors that influence the child in the prenatal environment. Remember, we are looking at the prenatal environment. So when these children are born to the external world now, remember the teacher starts meeting this child in the external world, especially at the age of school age. So you realize that the child has a problem, but this problem was caused during the prenatal development. So that's why it's important for us teachers to have this knowledge. We are having this knowledge so that in case you come across a child suffering from mental retardation, suffering from some heart problems, diabetes, and many other things, at the back of your mind, you must understand that this is something that might have been acquired during prenatal development. So why should you have this knowledge? So that you know how to handle this child. You are an informed teacher, a teacher who has the knowledge. And therefore, you can be able to devise best methods that can help this child be comfortable in your class and learn like any other normal child in your class. That's why I'm taking you through this particular information. So there are certain factors that also can affect growth and development, especially during birth. There are times when children, I mean, not the children, but the mother can have some, maybe before we look at complications during birth, there's something on drugs, legal and illegal drugs can also affect growth and development during the prenatal development. So legal drugs, this is where a mother takes drugs without the doctor's prescriptions. You just feel you have malaria, you feel you're not well, then you go to the chemist and buy some drugs. Those drugs can be dangerous to the fetus and they can interfere with the growth and development. We have illegal drugs, we have alcohol, illegal drugs like bang, cigarettes, that can also affect the growth and development of a child in the mother's womb. So it's advisable that expectant mothers avoid taking drugs from the counter. Mothers are advised, expectant mothers that is, are advised to seek medical advice from the doctor the moment they feel unwell. And they're also advised to avoid taking illegal drugs or being close to people who are taking illegal drugs like cigarettes. Cigarettes can also affect the prenatal development, even when the mother is not taking the cigarette, but staying closer to the person that is taking the cigarette. So it's advisable that they avoid that. I hope it's important that to note that these drugs also have chemicals. They have chemicals. Sorry. The drugs also have chemicals that can interfere with the growth and development. Then apart from the drugs, so these are the effects caused by drugs. The effects caused by drugs are stillbirth, bone malformation, facial deformations, heart diseases or heart defects, underweight, then mental retardation. So these are the effects of drugs. If a mother takes drugs, these are the effects on the child and therefore can interfere with their development. Then we have the age of the mother, teenage mothers, and even mothers over 35 years have higher risks of miscarriages and giving birth to children with disabilities or defects. Remember, as we are looking at this, we are also already getting factors that lead to exceptional development. Remember, we said that exceptional development is it's our last topic that we shall look at. So these are some of the factors that lead to exceptionalities. We are talking about X-rays, we are talking about drugs, we are talking about diseases, and we are talking about age of the mother when it comes to growth and development. So I want you to imagine ahead or think ahead how these factors can also influence the exceptionalities or exceptional development of children. So emotional state of the mother is another one. An expectant mother should always be emotionally stable. She should always be emotionally stable. That's why we are saying she is supposed to eat balanced diet. She is supposed to be in a good environment, an environment that is less stress, that has less stress. This is the time that the mother should be treated the best way if she has to give birth to a normal and stable child. So research by psychologists reveal that emotional stress experienced by the mother in expectancy have adverse effects on the fetus. And these effects are, for example, the child can be born with restlessness. You have come across children who are very restless, anxious, children who don't trust. Some are born with a pressure and so on. All these are some of the effects that influence, that are caused by anxiety or unstable, emotionally stable mother. Then withdrawn. So most of these children are withdrawn. They are not stable in class. They cannot sit down. You are teaching and their minds are very further withdrawn. So if you get such children in your class, know that this might have been the cause for such class, for such a child. If you find a child who is restless, anxious, does not trust anybody, you put him in a group, he says he can learn alone, he doesn't want to be a group of people. These are some of the effects of such children, especially when the mother was emotionally unstable during pregnancy. So you will see how best you can handle such children in your class. Difficulties during birth. There are times when mothers have complications during birth, which can also interfere with the growth and development. I've taken you through the prenatal stage. We have now come up to birth. Birth can be normal and successful. And birth can also have its own complications. One, it can have prolonged labor, for example, breech birth, and stillbirth or cesarean section. There are several factors that lead to this. Sometimes you may not anticipate this. So during delivery, sometimes mothers also go through such complications, which can also influence the child negatively. So prolonged birth can lead to mental retardation of the baby due to exhaustion and lack of enough oxygen. Breech birth is where it's a situation where the feet and the other parts of the body come first or present first instead of the head during delivery. This definitely leads to inadequate supply of oxygen, which leads or damages the brain, hence leading to mental retardation. It is very, very risky. It's such kind of cases that are normally taken for cesarean section, because definitely a mother cannot give birth to such a child if the child is presenting the legs and then other parts of the body first. Then definitely the mother is taken for cesarean section or for surgery so that the child can be removed. So this kind of activity should be done with a specialized doctor. So I'm saying it's also such a risk exercise that requires a specialized person. And it's also very, very delicate in the sense that it can lead to death of either the mother or of the child. And at the end of the day, affect growth and development. So these are some of the things that you should be able to know. So we also have, those are the prenatal factors or factors that influence prenatal development. We have factors that can influence both the prenatal development and they can also influence the external environment. After birth, that is. When I talk of external, we are referring to after birth. When a child has been born, definitely he requires to eat a balanced diet. He requires to stay in a less stressed environment. He requires to interact. Remember when we defined child development, we said there must be interaction of the child with the environment so that integration of interrelated factors take place in order to influence his or her development effectively. So for the child to grow and grow well or be healthy, the child must eat a balanced diet. That is one. The child must be free from diseases. Free from diseases. The child requires social interaction with the caretakers or with the mother, their mother or the caregiver or the guardian. We should be there to support the children so that they now start developing in these other aspects of development. Even the physical health requires proper care, security. The child requires security. These are some of the factors that I might have not listed in the notes. But remember, I'm helping you to identify these factors from the factors that we have already discussed in the prenatal environment. So security means the child needs to have enough protection. He needs the most basic needs, like clothing, so that he grows well. He needs love. All these are some of the factors that can also influence the child's development in the external environment without any problem. So if the child lacks this, then definitely the development will be interfered with. So that's why I've just listed here social factors and physical factors. So it's upon you to identify these social factors, identify the physical factors, then how they influence the development of the child. Sex differences. Research has also revealed that sex differences can be a factor that can influence growth and development. There are certain stages where boys grow faster. There are certain stages where they are weak and girls grow faster. But both, you realize that from the research that has been done, boys are at more risk as compared to girls. You know, boys are a weaker sex, especially in the early years of development. Early years are the prenatal years and the early years of birth. The boys are normally more vulnerable as compared to girls. You will read this research that I've written here. I've given you some research on that. You'll be able to read and get to understand what I mean by that. Then there's something on family separation, where the father raises the children alone or the mother raises the children alone. That level of stress also affects the children's growth or the child's growth and development. So when growth and development is taking place, it's advisable that the two parents should be there to support each other or to support one another when it comes to modeling, nurturing, support, and also supporting the child's development. So if the child has developed as an all-round child, he requires the love, parental love from the two parents. So also research has been done and has been revealed that children who grow up with one parent also have grown up with the negative characteristics. Like, for example, they have developed delinquent behaviors. They have also developed emotional problems. They're not emotionally upright, and they're also not morally upright. You know, it becomes, family separation becomes a factor to that. So up to that point, those are the causes or the factors that can influence human growth and development. Those are the factors that can influence human growth and development. Are we still together? Are we still together?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So I think there is something I'd posted.
Madam, we are together.
Okay, thank you. So thank you. So now the next topic, subtopic is on the principles of human growth and development. I want to stop there for today because we are very few, but I really wanted to introduce. So on the principles of growth and development, of human growth and development, kindly visit the e-learning. There's a link I've posted there, which brings out the principles of human growth and development. So, and when we are looking at these principles, I want us to look at it in a different way. What do you understand from these principles as teachers? Or how can you apply these principles in the teaching learning process? Like, for example, if I understand as a teacher that growth and changes in behavior are orderly, and most parts occur in invariable sequence, e.g. the head, the eyes, the lungs, arms, legs, and genital parts. What do you learn from this as a teacher? In the classroom, when you are handling these learners, if, for example, there are 40, there are 50, there are 20, there are 15, you look at these learners as human beings who are growing in an orderly manner and who also have some differences. All the parts of the body don't grow at the same time. They're invariable. We are talking about invariable sequence, meaning that some might have grown faster than others and so on. So meaning that even the teacher, when you are handling them, you have to understand that there are certain areas, if you identify that your learner has not developed in certain areas, then you find ways of filling such gaps and helping the learner learn better. And another principle is that every child is able to sit before it can stand. It stands before it can. It stands before it can walk, draws a circle before it draws a square. So it's important also for us to be able to understand individual differences and understand that children's growth and development also takes place in stages. Can you mute your mic, please? There's somebody who has unmuted the mic. Then another principle is that development takes place in a pattern and it's continuous. So when a child has not developed in a particular aspect, it doesn't mean that that is the end. Development is continuous. So that's why as teachers, we have a role to influence the remaining part of development, the remaining aspect that you identify in a child that has not developed fully. You come in to boost the child so that he can develop fully. So that's why it's important for us to understand that this is a principle, that its development takes place in a pattern and it is continuous. But there are times when children also, certain steps of development or stages of development are very, very sensitive. And remember, we said that these stages also takes place in a gradual way. You don't force. If a child is not able to perform an activity, just know that this child has not matured enough or is not ready enough to perform that particular activity. Give him or her time so that he can be able to grow or mature in that area. Then he will do that activity more effectively when he matures to do so. There are critical and sensitive periods in the development of certain body organs and psychological functions. Interference with the development during these periods may result in in permanent deficiencies or malfunctions. So if you are in a class, for example, and you discover that there is a student in your class who has some permanent deficiencies, for example, who is suffering from certain malfunctions, as a teacher, this information will help you know that maybe there was some interference during development. How do you handle such a child so that you boost his self-esteem, so that you boost his confidence, for him also to know that he can also perform an activity, if not better, but he can improve in the performance. So it's important for us to know that. Also, when you are handling maybe people who are in these critical situations, especially the first 2 months of pregnancy, they are very, very sensitive periods. Therefore, you also have to advise. You can advise as a teacher. You can advise, you can guide and counsel people in such kind of situations. And if you have such kind of children, you can also guide and counsel them and help them to improve in their performance. All the individual characteristics and abilities, as well as developmental changes, are the products of maturation and experience. I think I've already talked about maturation. You know what maturation is. I've already described the two stages, the two processes the two processes of maturation. So what I'm adding, what this principle is adding here is just experience. But at one point, we talked about the child interacting with the environment, and we had interrelated or integrations that take place. So that's where now experience comes in. All the abilities, all the characteristics are as a result of maturation and experience. I've already talked about maturation. You know what maturation is. Experience is the interaction with the external environment. I've talked about interaction. I've talked about provisions to enhance development in this, in the external environment. There are times when parents provide dolls, toys. These toys and dolls improve on the mental development of the child. You are providing an environment for the child to explore so that he can develop mentally. And that's one way of boosting their mental development. So that's experience. That's experience. A child might have inherited a very high IQ from the parent, but because of lack of experience in the environment, the IQ does not develop. But if the environment is conducive enough, then the child can also be boosted in the development of his mental ability. So all the characteristics are the products of a series of complex interactions between heredity and environment. I think I've already explained that and also given an example of intelligence as an example of inherited characteristic and how it can be boosted in the environment. So the growth pattern is unique in each child. I want to emphasize that. The growth pattern is unique in each child. Some are fast, while others are slow. That's a very, very important principle for us to know as teachers. That when I'm in class teaching, I know that some are very fast, that some are very slow. And that's why you realize that some are attending class now, others are busy doing their own things. So the next thing they'll be complaining, we have not learned, we didn't know. You know, they are not fast in doing things. So those are individual differences. Those are individual differences. So the most important thing is that let us handle our students with uniqueness. When we are preparing for a class, we have this factor in mind that individuals are unique. There are some who are fast, the others who are slow. So you make sure that your methods of teaching are favorable for the two. For those ones who are fast and for those ones who are slow. When you are coming up with the teaching aids, let your teaching aids also be favorable for the two groups, those who are fast and those who are slow, so that you are not leaning on one type of growth. So all of them are unique. And we have those ones who are very slow. Again, you must also see how best to help them. There are those who are exceptional. They are not slow, they are not fast, but they have unique characteristics that interfere with their learning. And therefore the teacher must identify them and see how to group them so that you do what we call individualized teaching. So those are the principles. So I want you to click on that link. You'll be able to read more about the principles of growth and, the principles of human growth and development. See how to group. So that's somebody has. Can you mute your mic, please? Teaching. So what are the educational implications of human growth and development? Educational implications of human growth and development. What are the educational implications of human growth and development? Why should a teacher have knowledge on human growth and development? I think I've already explained all this. Do I need to read for you these points? You can read on your own, isn't it? I want you to read on your own these points. And if possible, discuss them in a group. Discuss these points in a group. In case there's a point you don't understand, ask next time when we meet. I'll be able to explain kindly. I want to stop there for today, unless we have a question. Anybody with a question? So if there's no question, then I beg to stop there for today. Thank you so much for those of us who have been able to attend today's class. I hope you have registered your attendance. Make sure you register your attendance before you leave.
Thank you so much.
So thank you. Have a good day.
Same to you.